Assalamualaikum, Bichu. As you all know that we have already started virology. Basic virology I discussed in the last of my lecture. And Dr. Ru started with your DNA viruses. So today we will start with the RNA viruses. Today the lecture is very interesting because it's animated kind of a lecture. And we will start with the rabies. You know, rabies is a very common disease in our areas as well, because rabid dogs are so many in outside on your roads, and they are the main reason how you get rabies. Agent for the rabies are the rabies viruses. These are basically retroviruses, and they are single-stranded RNA. And Lysa virus type 1 is also the other name of this virus. This virus is a bullet-shaped virus, and it has a lipoprotein envelope, and it has knob-like spikes and glycoprotein G, and it also have a M protein layer. Source of infection is saliva of the rabid dog, and the dogs and cats are the virus in saliva remains in the dogs and cats saliva for 3 to 4 days before any clinical symptom appear in that dog, and as well as in the patient which will be bitten by these dogs or cats. So you should know that saliva is the main source of infection for humans. What is mode of transmission? Animal bites is the main mode of transmission. Then licks, aerosols, and person to person. Now, the animal bites and licks are basically two main mode of transmission for the rabies virus. And from person to person, it's from aerosol and from the touch of the containing viral infection. Incubation period is normally 3 to 8 weeks, and it depends on the site of the bite, severity of the bite, number of wounds, and amount of virus injected, species of the biting animals, and protection provided by the clothing and treatment taken also. So we'll talk one by one. Site of bite means you should know which part of the body of human is get bitten and how deep the wound is. Because through blood and through the your nerves, this kind of viruses get transmitted throughout the body. And amount of virus injected, like how much amount of saliva was there at that time when the dog or the cat has bitten any human, and species of bite animals, like which point of species, some rodent kind of, some rodent or some more severe kind of wild dogs or such animals are more severe as compared to domestic, because they are less toxic in this way. And protection provided by the clothes, like how many clothes the human was wearing at that time. If it is winter, there will be more protection there because layers of the clothing is more. While in the summers, you know, we wear less dresses, and people wear short dresses. So that's why the protection is less. And the treatment taken at that time. If you remember, you said, Pauline, we say that whenever your dog is bitten by a mad dog, any person is bitten by a mad dog, 14 injections are injected in the stomach. So it's not about the stomach, it's about 14 injections which are injected. Those are the antibody supplements or the vaccines for that time, which are given to the and patient which is susceptible to of getting bitten by a rabid animal which is containing rabies. So then treatment matters a lot. What is pathogenesis? Whenever an infection whenever there is an infection, the bite wound is there, Then the virus multiplies locally in the myocytes for weeks or months. Then viruses travel up the peripheral nervous system. And then from the it multiplies in the nervous central nervous system and in causes encephalitis. Virus moves throughout the peripheral and cranial nerves, and from there it went to the salivary glands or skin or mucosal surfaces or gut or other most organs. All of these lead to the saliva infective for several days or 2 weeks before sign appears, and then the death is eventually found if it is not prohibited over here in these steps. So, if we repeat, after the bitten by any rabid animal, the infection will travel to the myocytes, the muscle cells from the blood, and then in the muscle, from the muscles, it travels to the through the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system, and where it multiplies and it causes encephalitis. That's why the people are usually in coma or people are getting fits. So these are symptoms of encephalitis. Then virus moves throughout the peripheral and cranial nerves and through different channels, like from salivary glands, from skin, from mucosal surfaces, from gut, and from other. Then the saliva infective for the several days and up to 2 weeks, and then the only after 2 weeks only the symptoms will appear, the severe symptoms, and within few weeks later, death can be formed if not treated well. This is also the same way how a cycle which how it is written. If you see here, number one, the virus is inoculated by the bite of the dog, then viral application in the muscle tissues of the leg, and then through the skeletal muscles, and then through the virus binds to the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors at the neuromuscular junction, from where it gets viral travel through the axon of the peripheral nerve and it goes up to the central nervous system and replicate in the motor neurons of the spinal cord and local dorsal root ganglia, rapid ascent to the brain. And then after this one, what will happen is that the infection travels to the neurons and the neurons become dysfunctional. And the centrifugal spread along with the nerves to the salivary glands and the skins and the cornea and other organs will result into the infection. So if you see, all these steps are very important. This slide is very important if you, as far as rabies is concerned. If you know this slide, you can make every throughout it. The pathophysiology you can make the incubation period, you can make the signs and symptoms, and ultimately you can know how the organism is traveling throughout the human body. Okay, this is the replication cycle of this virus. First of all, adsorption will be there, then penetration will be there, then uncoating will be there, transcription, translation, processing, replication, and assembly, and finally the bud. And this is all happening by the G protein synthesis. So this is very important. You should know all these steps. For all single-stranded RNA, the replication cycle is same. So if you remember this one, that will help you in all the single-stranded RNA. What are the clinical manifestations? Its non-specific prodrome period is the first stage of the infection, then acute neurological encephalitis, then coma and the death. If we discuss about the first non-specific prodrome, in this period, patient will appear with the history, and along with that, the patient will having only fever, a little bits of fits, like if you can want to confuse it with the other different types of the fits, which is due to the neurological deficit. And then the acute neurological encephalitis will be there, so stiff neck and other related symptoms will be there. And later on, if it is not settled, then the coma will occur. And ultimately, after that, the death is the end result, if not treated well. So the non-specific prodrome period 1 to 2 days or 1 week till 1 week it can occur. Fever, headache, sore throat is there, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, agitation, depression, and pain and tingling sensation at the bite site. These all are the non-specific prodrome period symptoms which will appear in the patient. Neurological phase is 80% of the cases it's encephalitic and 20% it's paralytic rabies. So if the paralysis is there, in the peripheral nervous system, then it is called paralytic rabies. And if the main brain tissue is damaged and brain is the one which is mostly affected, it's called encephalitic rabies. In encephalitic rabies, fever, confusion, hallucinations, and muscle spasm, hyperactivity, and seizures. All these are the main symptoms. Autonomic dysfunction can be occurring by hypersalivation, salivation, excessive perspiration, and pupillary dilatation can occur. Hyperexcitability may be there. Hydrophobia and aerophobia. Hydrophobia is that you are fearing from the water, and aerophobia is you are fearing from the air or from your above. If you're getting at high altitudes, so you might get this phobia. And foaming at the mouth might be present due to dysfunction of infected brainstem neurons. Severe brainstem damage can occur, and this damage will lead to coma and then later on death. So these are very important signs and symptoms. Complication of encephalitis is there, the disturbance in the water balance is there, non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema might happen, and cardiac arrhythmias and myocarditis. How you will diagnose on the history with signs and symptoms, clinical examination, then detection of antigen by taking skin biopsy using immunofluorescence, then virus isolation from the saliva and other secretions, and CSF analysis and CT scan. CSF analysis is there in order to eradicate the other forms of encephalitis, that is bacterial or fungal infections. And ELISA, PCR, and Negri bodies. All these last four important points are there. Like detection of antigen, you should know from the skin biopsy, and virus isolation from the saliva, and then CSF analysis and CT scan is very important in order to detect the typical picture of rabies encephalitis. And ELISA and PCR will detect the virus antibodies by ELISA, and PCR will detect exact amount of the RNA, the single-stranded RNA. And the Negri bodies are the specific findings on the histopathological biopsies. If you take any biopsy, this Negri bodies will be there. How we should treat? There's no established treatment for the rabies. Only the palliative approach is to help the patient with the symptomatic treatment. Vaccines are available, which are nerve tissue vaccines, duck embryo vaccines, modern tissue vaccines, and human diploid cells vaccines. The pre-exposure immunization is very important. That consists of 3 doses of vaccines given on 0, 7, 21, and 28 days. And these are given to the pets or the animals which are there, not for the humans. Should be given, and it should be given by the individuals in high risk groups like veterinarians and zookeepers. So all these pet keeping persons or the animals who are dealing with the zoo animals in the zoo are the most likely to individuals who should have this type of vaccine, which is pre-exposure vaccine. Like you don't have bite up till now from the animal, but you want to procure yourself from these bites because you are continuously in connection or in contact with these animals, these different types of animals, like in veterinary doctors, like in zookeepers, like the patients who are having pets at home. Those people who are having pets at home, they should follow this regime of immunization, which is very important. And it should be given on different doses like day 0, day 7, and day 21 and 28. The post-exposure immunization is the main injections which are given whenever you are exposed with the rabies animal. Involves the use of both vaccines and the human bites, immunoglobulins plus cleaning of the wound, and 5 doses of human diploid cellular viral vaccines are given at 0, 3, 7, and 14 and 80, 28 days of, plus RIG is given once with the first dose of vaccine at different sites in order to prevent utilization. RIG is RIG is basically rabid immunoglobulin, which is produced by already a person who is interacted with the rabid animal. So the antibodies which are produced inside that person are taken up by the doctors and scientists and they preserve it as RIG antibody for the post-exposure immunization. And this one vaccine is given at different 14 sites of the body in order to cover the virus, before going into the central nervous system. So we stop it or hold it at the level of peripheral nervous system and the muscle tissue, especially where it is bitten. So you give 14 different sites and give infection to the 14 different sites of the bite which has happened. RIG is given in the bite site and rest given in the intramuscular. So all the muscles should be covered. How you will do animal care? It's very important in order to prevent rabies. Vaccines for the immunization of the dogs and cats consist of inactivated rabies virus given at 3 months after every 3 months, with the booster given annually or 3 monthly interval. Animals have been observed for 10 days. Brain should be examined by immunofluorescence. And you know, it's a very common practice in our villages. Whenever we see any mad dog, just kill it. We just kill them because they are the reasons why they spread the rabies to the humans. Rabies kills, so better prevent rabies. Take the animals to the vaccinator and then avoid dog bites and wash your bites before that. Prevention is the best care, and be aware of bats, sick or stray animals, and take care of your pets. These two things which are bad, and because first of all, the virus usually it's said that it came from the forests, and these forests are containing the bats in which this virus might survive. And bat and squirrels and foxes are one of the reasons of the stray animals which are present in the forest, and they causes the infection to spread in your local dogs and cats which are interacting with the humans. This is all. The question of in between before revising everything is which muscle tissue is involved in spreading rabies. Your in between question for attendance is which muscle tissue is the one which is involved in spreading rabies in your body. You have to mark your second attendance on the basis of this result. Which muscle tissue is involved in spreading rabies from the bite site to the upper or central nervous system. Keep on answering your question while I'm revising on the rabies with you. So the rabies is basically a single-stranded RNA and it was caused by the rhabdovirus, which is single-stranded RNA, and it's bullet shaped. It has lipoproteins, glycoproteins, some M proteins as well. The saliva of the rabid animal is the main reason. Mode of transmission is animal bites, licks, aerosols, and person to person if it gets interacted with the blood in active state. Then depends on the site, how incubation period goes will depend on the site of the bite, severity of the bite, number of wounds, and the amount of viruses which are involved, and the species of the biting animals. And protection is behind or either provided by the animal, the clothing before interaction with the animals, and the treatment given at that time. So you should know the pathogenesis. The other one is, I think, the more better one. This one is a very good picture and you should know about it. And you should memorize this picture for your reviews. This topic is important as far as your written exam is concerned, as far as your oral viva is concerned, because rabies is very common in Pakistan. Okay, and the 4 stages you should know: non-specific prodrome, in which all local symptoms will appear, Acute neurological encephalitis is related to the typical encephalitis symptoms will be there, and the coma will result if you are not going to control neurological encephalitis and the death, unfortunately. Neurological phase will have encephalitic or paralytic. Encephalitic will having fever, confusion, hallucinations, hyperactivity, muscle spasm, seizure, and hyperexcitability. Then hydrophobia, aerophobia. You should know all these signs and symptoms of encephalitic rabies. While the paralytic rabies will have paralysis. It might be paralysis of half body, it might be paralysis of full body, or it might be paralysis of trunks only. Complications you should know: disturbance of the water balance, non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema, cardiac arrhythmias, myocarditis, and so on and so forth. History examination is very important. If a patient is giving you a history of bite from animal, directly go for the treatment of urgent treatment of the rabies. That is, clean up the wound and try to extract as much excretions from the wound as much you can, and then give the RIG vaccine. That is RIG rabies immunoglobulins directly injected in the wound and the muscle surrounding that wound, so that you can stop the delivery of a virus from that particular area to the peripheral system and from there to the central nervous system. And then you will go for the further diagnostic tests in order to measure as much as destruction has happened. So you have to know. So you will go for CSF analysis, CT scan, and for IgG, ELISA, and PCR. Treatment is not established, so you will go for the vaccines, and that is post-exposure vaccine, which I have already discussed. And if you have pets, you have to take care of them. If you want to have pets at home, you should better get them injected. The question was, what kind of muscles are involved in spreading the rabies virus? You should answer the question in order to get the second attendance of yours to be marked. I don't know why you people are writing your names for the attendance, second attendance. And if this is your first attendance, this is very bad if you are getting so late in the lecture. I'm already giving you 5 minutes. I usually come at 9:30 so that you can get settled down from the first, after taking water or something from the first lecture. So you should better know that where you are standing. As all you know that now we are in ending up our course almost. So please do your work on the daily basis. Go through your all lectures on the daily basis. If you have any questions, I will unmute you now. If you have any question, you can ask. Rabies is an interesting topic, and I hope it gives you a break from the boring lectures of virology. We will do all the important lectures as far as exam is concerned in the virology, and these all includes HIV, hepatitis, polio, and rabies we have covered today. Then influenzas will be covered. Then parainfluenzas will be covered. Herpes you are already continuing with Dr. Aruj, and so on and so far. We are doing all the important viruses with you, and at the end we will again summarize all the virology. And once you will be in college, inshallah, we will go through some revision, short revision courses so that you can cover it before getting exam. But you should know now. If you are doing it on daily basis along with your lectures, it's very good for you. Just give one reading. If you don't understand anything, no problem. Listen to the lectures and then in the evening, just go through once from your book so that you should know that what are the important points which I have told you, which might not be present in your book. You should add in your lecture book, and you just know what is in your book. So you can go through once. If you revise it once at home and in the evening, you will better remember all these things, and it will not be difficult for you at all. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I think it's you don't have any other question. See you next time, inshallah. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.